The Open Shots podcast is a mature audience's podcast. Listener discretion is advised. What's going on, DMV? You know what it is. This is that show, Open Shots. Hit us up at openshotsdmv@gmail.com. I'm your host, Alex. We're back again. It's been a minute, but you know, people got to take vacations because that's what you do when you got money. You know what I'm saying? I'm your host, Alex. Joined here, you know what I'm saying, my co-host by the name of
Rick.
Yeah, and you know what I'm saying, we're going to get into it like we usually do. Special guest once again, you know what I'm saying?
Prairie.
Yeah, Sean Taylor, no vowels. How you doing, Mr. Taylor?
Yo.
Yeah, and so, again, brought to you with the courtesy and the love of the one and only producer, Carlos G. You know what I'm saying? Making things happen on Open Shots. You know what it is. Thanks for checking us out, listening in, and first and foremost, to everybody who's here, thanks for not being at the club this weekend.
Yeah, right.
And it's just another weekend of like, man, I ain't going to make it this weekend. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we're still here. We're still doing it. So we got a couple topics we're going to get into. But first, let's find out what's going on in the past couple of weeks for everybody. Rick, what you been up to these past couple of weeks?
Shit, I went to the beach. Shit, fuck all that. But I made sure that shit was clean. Cleaned every fucking room, every fucking doorknob. Went to the Outer Banks. Got crushed by some waves. Had a good time. Finally left my house besides going to work, so I needed that. Rented a beach house. If anybody go to the beach, Lowe's, any y'all, ST, I was about to slip up, almost call me slipping. Alex, make sure you get a beach house and rent that junk so you can have your own private entrance to that junk. Because if you look to the left or to the right, them motherfucking condos, they ain't had a 6 feet distance. Where I was at, it was cool though. One thing I can say, you don't got to be trapped in your house. As long as you follow the rules, wear your mask, man. Not live your life. Because I'd be secluded in my house too. But you could at least venture off, do other shit.
Right on. Mr. Taylor, your past couple weeks, how they been?
I mean, pretty much same old working, doing my private ventures as well. I think I was just like overwhelmed by places where I was at that weren't wearing a mask. And I'm just like, man, we're going to be locked down for another year, man.
Yeah.
People going to be hard-headed. So
I forgot to say that.
Yeah.
They're down there different. They down there different, yeah.
Yeah.
That 4-hour ride make a whole lot of fucking difference between how the motherfuckers carry shit. Now you see a motherfucker walking Safeway with a mask, you be like, cuz you lunching. But then you go out there, they don't say shit.
Right, they'll protest with you to be like, no, I shouldn't have to wear a mask.
It's my God-given right as an American.
It's in the Constitution.
And when they say shit, that shit don't even make no sense. Because don't you gotta wear a t-shirt to go to fucking McDonald's? Why can't it just be a store
t-shirt?
Right? Why can't that just be a store policy? You need to put a mask on.
Right on.
I don't see what the big deal is.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's how they say it. I mean, it's not that hard. Like you said before, it's like it's not about protecting you, it's about protecting me. You know what I'm saying? That's why you're wearing a mask. So
yeah.
All right, so let's get into these topics for Open Shots. We are recording on Saturday, July 25th, 2020. You know what I'm saying? Get that clarity and that vision in you once again for this year, because that's pretty much what it's been for a bunch of different perspectives.
It's been a jinx.
Yeah, it's just been like it's ultimate clarity to just hindsight is 2020. It's like there is no hindsight. It's like every day it's kind of like the same day repetitively, but we're still, you know, it's just going in its own direction. So for, you know, a lot of people making decisions from the top down, Rick, as you mentioned before. So let's get into it. Let's get into it with the topic. So we're going to get into Donald Trump again, a lot with Donald Trump just in the past week. Coronavirus, we're going to look at how those things are looking. And we're going to get into sports and, you know, just close it. But these are all umbrella topics. So there's a lot going on. Let's start off with Donald Trump. So he had an interview on Fox News this past Sunday. We're going to get into that. Election numbers so far. We're going to see how Biden is challenging him, what kind of support Trump is getting, and just in general, the overall feel for the upcoming election. Census Bureau is Donald Trump is saying that they should exclude undocumented citizens from being counted just in terms of information. The Houston Chinese Consulate is closing in Houston because of something that's going on, and this is all under Trump's watch. So let's get into it. This past week with on an interview on Fox News, I think with Chris Wallace from Fox News, who actually is he goes at the president occasionally, just in general Republicans in the past, and you know Obama and whoever, and it happens to be Trump, and it's Fox News. Pretty much didn't even really challenge him. He was just asking him questions. And of course, Donald Trump said what he had to say. I think we have some audio of this. Los, you got that audio?
We have the 7th highest mortality rate in the world. Our mortality rate is higher than Brazil. It's higher than Russia. And the European Union has us on a travel ban.
When you talk about mortality rates, I think it's the opposite. I think we have one of the lowest mortality rates in the world.
We had 900 deaths on a single day.
We will
this week.
Ready?
You check it out.
Please get me the mortality rate.
Yeah.
Kaylee's right here. I heard we have one of the lowest, maybe the lowest mortality rate anywhere in the world. Do you have the numbers, please? Because I heard we had the best mortality rate. Number one low mortality rate. I hope you.
All right, that was the first piece of audio. That was the first piece of audio where incorrect mortality rates. Now we're going into the second part right now, where he lays claim or blame at.
He probably gave some
Biden.
fake piece of paper.
All right, well here it goes.
He does not.
Look, he signed a charter with Bernie Sanders. I will get that one, just like I was right on the mortality rate. Did you read the charter that he agreed
It says
to?
nothing about defunding.
Oh, really? It says abolish. It says let's go.
All right.
Get me the charter, please.
All right.
Because you've got to start studying for these.
He says defund the police.
He says defund the police. They talk about abolishing the police. They talk about illegal aliens pouring.
I look forward to seeing it.
All right, that's a second where he just goes at Biden incorrectly, getting challenged by the host of the show on Fox News. And then we're just going to let him go off right here for about a minute and a half. Let's hear what the president has to say.
Talking about racism. They love their flag. It represents the South. They like the South. People right now like the South. I say it's freedom of many things, but it's freedom of speech.
So you're not offended?
Well, I'm not offended either by Black Lives Matter. That's freedom of speech. I think that Fort Bragg, Fort Robert E. Lee, all of these forts that have been named that way for a long time, decades and decades.
The military says that.
Excuse me. I don't care what the military says. 1492, Columbus discovered America. We grew up, you grew up, we all did. That's what we learned. Now they want to make it the 1619 Project. Where did that come from? What does it represent? I don't even know. So
slavery.
That's what they're saying. They don't even know. They just want to make a change.
You still have more than 100 days to this election, but at this point, you're losing.
First of all, I'm not losing because those are fake polls. They were fake in 2016, and now they're even more fake. Let's take a test. Let's take a test right now. Let's go down. Joe and I will take a test. Let him take the same test that I took.
Incidentally, I took the test too when I heard that you passed it.
Yeah, how did
it's
you
not
do
the well, it's not the hardest test.
No, but
the last picture that says what's that, and it's an elephant.
No. You see, that's all misrepresentation.
Well, that's what it was on the web.
It's all misrepresentation. Because yes, the first few questions are easy, but I'll bet you couldn't even answer the last 5 questions. I'll bet you couldn't. They get very hard, the last 5
Well,
questions.
one of them was count back from 100 by 7.
And let me tell you, you couldn't answer.
All right, what's the question?
Many of the questions.
So that is President Trump. So let's keep it moving. That was definitely a large
himself. I ain't gotta say
audio.
shit.
Exactly. So
he spoke for himself.
He's stepping in front of him. So he's incorrect on the U.S. mortality rates. He's making
Way
false
wrong.
accusations of Biden, and then just a general, just like a tirade of pretty much ignorance, just like throwing
Actually,
every kind of thing out there.
He's just playing to his base, dog.
Go ahead.
If I could interject, I do believe that going back to what we had said in the previous month about you have to look at the mortality rate compared to other Western countries. And I believe we've tested over 50 million tests, am I right? So that's a lot. That's like a lot of testing. People have to be able to come into that range or either the ratio of a range to kind of see what their mortality rate is compared to ours. So in a sense, he can fidget the numbers to kind of build his point, as well as the other side can fidget the numbers to build their point. Because when it comes down to it, the more you test, the more you have to choose from for who's healthy or sick. Then you have to say, if you compare it to another country, are they testing as much people? And we all know they aren't. So that's the basis of both sides of the coin arguing about, is it high or is it low?
Yeah, I disagree with that. So you're saying we shouldn't be? You're saying because we're testing, that's why we have more positive tests?
Well, no, we've had 50 million tests, and what did the next country have? And then you can ratio.
I don't know that number. I don't know what the next country had, but I know the reason why we keep getting our tests because we keep getting fucking sick.
Well, I mean, the thing
because our curve isn't. We still going up.
Yeah, I mean, for starters, we live here, so we kind of see firsthand what's happening in America. Other countries, we don't know. We're getting information from them, and it's what they're telling us. So we're not exactly sure if they have ways of not treating COVID patients, and they're just not counting them at all. You know, so at the end of the day, this is information we can't clearly claim. So to spend time arguing with the president if our mortality rate is high or not, or
we got a high ass clip.
Like I said, we test way more people. You know what I mean? We have a higher population, so therefore we're supposed to find more.
Yeah, but if you combine all of Europe, then fucking Europe is way bigger than America. We still got more than the whole fucking Europe.
I don't know if Europe's bigger than America.
The whole fucking junk?
Yeah, we're 350.
I don't know how many people they fucking got, but their numbers is way less than ours.
Well, like England, for starters, is 60 million people.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
But, okay, so, then add other countries.
Yeah.
Europe is huge. Europe just ain't fucking. Europe just isn't fucking England. It's fucking France, Germany. Oh, they numbers is way fucking down. So if you look at the whole European Union, they fucking going down.
Well, so let's look at the numbers from Worldometers from 2 days ago. Total cases, U.S. So total cases. We
got like a quarter of the cases.
So total cases in the world currently 16,189,000.
And we have 4 million.
U.S. has 4.3 million.
We have a quarter of the cases.
Of with 149,000 deaths leading.
Right.
Total deaths are 647,595. And new deaths, I don't know how new they count, maybe every 2 days or every 3 days or maybe weekly. But
my whole thing, we just handled it. We handled this shit wrong. Fucking look at Vietnam. They got 0 deaths and they fucking in fucking Asia.
Right. Well,
them Asian countries, they handle it better than fucking the rest of the fucking country because they had SARS and shit like that. They knew how to handle a pandemic.
Yep, they knew about the masks, and it's like start wearing those masks. But so the new deaths, the U.S. has 905, Brazil has 1,100, India 690, Russia 146.
I just have. I mean,
Mexico
I don't agree when people be like the reason why we got more is more tests. So what you gonna do? Stop testing so the numbers go down?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I trust our test numbers more than I do
the
country.
But I trust them as well. But the whole point is, so then it's just it's almost embarrassing for us to be a first world country and everybody else is
doing shitty,
including developing nations. And we're just like, we don't give a fuck. We'll just figure it out.
It's because look,
believe it or not, I think that's kind of embarrassing.
It is.
I mean, it's embarrassing if you put the spotlight on us in a negative way. It can be embarrassing. But the point I'm trying to make is the numbers can be fidgeted in a way where it's not relevant to how we're handling the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So right now, if things are shutting down right as they reopen, that's how we're handling it wrong. If we're going to complain about the mortality rate being the reason why things are bad, then you can easily say, well, the numbers, you just can't compare them. There's no global system that Europe is using, that China's using, that Korea's using, that America's using, where we can say, we got all these numbers, we punch them in, and this is what we have. No one's being honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we not even being state of Florida's not even being honest.
We're not even being straight up with ourselves.
So our numbers could be fucking higher.
It could be it can be higher.
Shit, and that's they're not even trying to release the shit.
Yeah. That's what some people argue. So, like I said, that's the one I'd give him. I'll say, like, if you want to talk about morality numbers.
What happened was states opened up too early because they tried to get the economy going because this is an election year. Mm-hmm. If this was fucking 2017, we would never fucking opened up this early. This is fucking 2020, in all them fucking states to try to get it. That's all Trump had going was the economy.
I don't even think it had to be a political issue.
He played politics with American lives, dog. He needed an answer for that shit. If they had a 9/11 commission after 9/11 and the towers went down, if they fucking pressed Hillary Clinton for 12 people dying in Benghazi, they need to press Donald Trump out for having 140,000 Americans die.
I mean, Bush did. He did his thing too, and they impressed him. Cheney.
They did. They had a whole 9/11 commission. What you mean after this shit happened? They want to know what the hell went wrong.
But yeah, okay, so who's in jail?
It don't matter who's. I'm not saying Trump need to go to jail. You misunderstand what I'm saying.
I
Somebody needs to answer for everybody that died.
I understand what you're saying. I understand how.
If they had a whole commission for only 3,000 people dying in the Twin Towers in the Pentagon, what are we gonna have for 140,000 Americans? It's gonna be more by the time this shit is over.
I don't think it's ever going to get looked at that from that angle. So, all right. So let's keep it moving with Donald Trump. So the election numbers so far, and this is coming from The Economist, dated an hour ago. Right now, their model has Joe Biden very likely to beat Donald Trump in the Electoral College. This is still way early, and I don't know.
Super early. Early in July.
And I don't know how. And I don't even know how The Economist did this. And I'm actually they had the metrics for how they did the study. But right now, Joe Biden has a 9 in 10 chance of winning the Electoral College and chance of winning the most votes better than 19 and 20. Predicted range of Electoral College votes, 252 to 415, 270 to win. So they got right now him this is one of those things that kind of also happened in the last election, which was Hillary's going to win it. Like the Republicans were still trying to figure the thing out in the summer. With all the
but it's different. It's different.
I know, I understand, but it's kind of similar though because it was like, they're putting Donald Trump up there, Hillary's going to win. You know what I mean? And that's why a lot of people didn't show up to vote. So these kind of numbers can be skewing, and can just make you kind of like maybe not lull you to sleep, but when you get used to seeing these kind of numbers and predictions the same way that you had with Hillary, you might not come out to vote. You might just think it's hand in the bag, and then Donald Trump gets another 4 years because you didn't show up to vote, and because the people who support him so much showed up again because they're probably not in this poll.
Trump people coming out.
I don't think they're in this poll. They're just not saying that they're Trump
coming
voters.
out. They're going because they don't give a fuck about the pandemic. They're gonna fill the motherfucking pool boobs out. Then they give a fuck about the fucking coronavirus. They're gonna be out there with no mask voting.
So please tell me what you guys think about how it's looking right now for Donald Trump in the upcoming election with everything that's going on right now.
Yeah, it's the math ain't that fucking hard, dog. All you got to do is get back fucking Pennsylvania, get back Michigan. Ohio's going to be tossed up because there's a lot of people that love fucking Donald Trump at Ohio, but at least get fucking Wisconsin back. And
how's Florida looking?
Florida, the way they handling they fucking crisis now, fucking Florida might turn blue. Florida a purple state. It varies. You see what I'm saying? But they don't even need Ohio. If he can get Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Florida, Donald Trump out of there. You're never gonna get Mississippi. You never just like Donald Trump ain't never gonna get California, New York, or Maryland, shit like that. Right. There's certain battleground states that we fuck around getting Nevada and Arizona, but those are hard states to get. Those are purple states too. But like them deep red states, we ain't gonna get them. Pennsylvania, we got to get that back to win. We got to get Michigan. We got to get Florida. We could lose all the rest of the red states and then Trump out of there.
Let's get Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor, what do you got?
I think the biggest problem we have in Florida is you got a fighting chance, even though with the how they have the lines rigged, there's still a fighting chance. But I really believe that the Latino community vote against their interests. So it's really hard to leverage.
Women even vote against their interest.
Yeah, women vote against their interests. So that's really going to be the huge factor in Trump taking Florida, is if you have the people who you expect to not support him, there's a really good chance. Also, too, for the primaries, I have for Texas, Mary Hager. It looks like she's going to come out, and she's taking that for the Democrats. Jeff Sessions lost to Tommy Tuberville,
a football coach from Auburn.
Yeah,
that's why they look at y'all.
He was coaching football. He could be president.
Y'all don't listen. You should never let nobody from the South be smarter than you. How the fuck does Jeff Sessions lose, who was a senator before, was a fucking district attorney, did everything right, did everything by the book, and lose to a football coach.
Because Donald Trump threw him under the bus and was
Yeah.
like, man, he
That's
used to work for me. Why do you think I fired him? And now you want him to represent your district?
That's how simple and so stupid they are.
Hey, those are Trump voters.
Here's a question for you then. Here's the question for you. Him having a college football background, how do you think his political stance will be, especially with his former athletes that he coached that were coached under him? Do you think they're going to react shockingly if he's close to Trump's policies? Or do you think they're going to be like, yeah, I always knew he was like that?
I think that the reason that Tuberville won is just a general status quo of we're still trying to keep it a certain way in the South.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but Sessions is the same way too. It wasn't like they different. It wasn't like they any different.
Well,
Sessions
in
the same
terms
way
of like,
too.
there's still this way of life in the South, kind of like keeping it.
Yeah, and they so simple minded. All it took was, oh, Trump likes this one, so fuck that one. That's all it took. That's all it took. I mean, it ain't fucking rocket science. They so stupid down there. That's all it took. Trump said vote for him. Okay, I'm gonna vote for him. They so dumb. Trump said don't wear a mask. Don't wear a mask.
Okay, so we're going to keep it moving here. Once again, this is Open Shots. Hit us up at openshotsdmv@gmail.com. Still in the Trump territory, Donald Trump is saying that he's considering or thinks that the Census Bureau should exclude undocumented citizens from being counted in the U.S. How do you guys feel about that? Just in general, so, our listeners, first time listening, in general, what do you think about the president saying?
He can't do that. It's against the law. He's fucking just playing politics. That's all he's doing. That's all he's doing. This election year, he's doing everything to play politics.
Well, I'll tell you a bigger complication. The United States immigration is upside down. It's dysfunctional. It doesn't work. It always has problems. Government programs in a whole have problems. Like you pick on me for liking Bernie, but I'm anti-big government. I really think the more stuff the government runs, you start seeing how incapable they are of running it. When it comes to our immigration system, it's one of the worst ran departments we have. Each state does it differently. There's no uniformity. Therefore, whenever dealing with immigration, if you can leave it out, leave it out. Do not add it to the census, because it will just add on more complications that we don't need. If you could trust that system, I would say okay, but you can't. And you hear all the time people say we need new immigration reforms. They say that because some way, somehow they will botch it out, or they'll botch it up. So just leave it out. Leave it out.
But that has nothing to do with the Census Bureau does.
It doesn't matter. Anything related to immigration that can do without immigration, leave it out. They will find some way to screw it up every single time.
All they're doing is counting how many people are in the country.
Exactly.
That's all they're doing.
My point I'm saying is, for the simple fact, because you're only counting all the people in the country, don't add any immigration questions to it.
Oh, just that part. Okay.
Yeah, just leave it out.
Maybe I misheard what you was getting at. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so
I agree with that then. I guess.
Okay. We were just.
That's why you need to drink more and stop being sober. I wasn't understanding what the hell you were saying.
Oh, sure. Believe it all that.
So, one of the things that I was getting at in terms of why we need the Census Bureau and why we can't exclude undocumented citizens, I was just saying a second ago, is because it matters the information that we get from the population, because we have to be able to allocate resources. And when like the census, ultimately I look at it as like they're not dealing with policy. They're just really just like a library. They're trying to get information, and wherever they do with information, then that's the powers that be. That's federal spending. But in the meantime, we have to be able to have the information to be able to give resources when the resources are needed.
It's a federal law. I think you got to count everyone. Who's here?
Try to his best.
But I think Trump is challenging it because in the law it says count all persons. He's trying to challenge that all persons doesn't mean immigrant or illegals.
Well, so it probably don't mean black or brown to him either. So
right. And fucking Native Americans weren't counted until 1940.
When the Civil War started, it's like that doesn't count as a person. So I don't know.
I mean, the reason why he's doing it is for politics. It's an election year. Like I said, if it was fucking 2010, he wouldn't give a fuck because The election's not till 2012. He's doing all this shit, fire his base up. He's getting crushed in the polls. He's handling the virus fucking terrible. Fuck, they should have elected me. I could have handled it better than him. You see what I'm saying? So he just doing shit to feed his base. That's all he doing.
And he's stepping all over himself.
He played. Donald Trump don't give a fuck about nobody but himself. All the decisions he make is on getting reelected. That's all he doing. That's why he fucking telling them fucking people, open up your states, send the kids to school. I don't want my kids going to school. Fuck if the kids don't fucking, they have a lower chance of dying, but they get that shit, they bring it home to me, then I fucking die.
Yeah, that would happen.
Sorry, so I ain't mean to say all them words. Yeah, no, I had to clean it up for y'all. Man, I got an email from the boss saying y'all can't say shit like that.
Man, whatever. I haven't sent. I'm not the boss, so because I haven't sent any.
He was like, yeah, that's saying that shit. So I'm like, okay, I'm saying that shit.
All right, so we're sticking with Donald Trump.
Saying shit. He just stop saying fuck.
So we're gonna wrap it up right now with this umbrella topic on Donald Trump. Last two topics.
Fuck Trump.
The Houston Chinese consulate has been closed this past Tuesday, and I'm going to read this first, coming from the Consulate General of the People's Republic of China in Houston. And it looks just like so straightforward. It's not even funny. Like they didn't even put like any kind of font or type of like jazz hands to this document. On July 22nd, Consul General CAI Wee took a joint interview with ABC 13 and International Focus. CGCAI said on July 21st, the U.S. abruptly demanded that the Consulate General of the People's Republic of China in Houston cease all operations and events within a time limit. It is a political provocation unilaterally launched by the U.S. side, which seriously violates international law, basic norms governing international relations, and the bilateral consular agreement between China and the U.S. China strongly condemns and firmly opposes such an outrageous and unjustified move with which sabotages Chinese-U.S. relations. We urge the U.S. side to immediately revoke this erroneous decision. Otherwise, and that was the end of the sentence. Otherwise, China will have to respond with legitimate and necessary actions. So that's coming from the Chinese consulate in Houston.
Weren't the feds investigating that building?
I'm not done. All right, so this is coming from CNN. And so you're probably like, why did it happen? So this is coming from CNN today at like 9:30 in the morning. The Chinese Consulate General in Houston has closed following Tuesday's order after U.S. officials allege it was part of a larger Chinese espionage effort using diplomatic facilities around the U.S. A State Department spokesperson confirmed to CNN late Friday. U.S. federal agents and law enforcement entered the Chinese consulate compound in Houston earlier Friday in a series of black SUVs, trucks, 2 white vans, and locksmiths vans as a crowd of observers and news cameras observed from the edge of the diplomatic compound. U.S. officials speaking to reporters Friday said the consulate had been implicated in a fraud investigation at a Texas research institution, and that Chinese consulate officials were directly involved in communications with researchers and guided them on what information to collect. So, if you're Donald Trump, who do you believe? CNN or the Chinese consulate?
Never. I mean, he better believe fucking CNN. Fuck that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't even like Donald Trump. He might be like, hold on, let me call my man Wee Wong Sue and be like,
I don't even like Donald Trump, but you gotta believe fucking feds over the Chinese government. Fuck that.
Yeah.
That's
it's so hard because he's been saying he doesn't believe his intelligence.
Right. He don't believe the FBI, but yeah, I know. I get it. But still, though, you think I'm a believe a communist government than fucking our government? You fucking crazy. If the feds say they were cheating, man, kick their ass out like they did Russia a couple of years ago, they got to go.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is that, like, when and if you know crime, then you know. I mean, well, if you know just in general criminal shit, then you would know that the feds don't come after you unless they got a
right. They got like a 97%.
Yeah. And here's the thing is that they're probably not even targeting the Chinese consulate. They're just following the money. And it's like, damn, this is where it led to, or this is where the information led to. You know, so.
Right.
All right, hopefully Donald Trump makes the right decision on that one. I would imagine.
Didn't he kick him out though? They already added it.
Yeah, they closed. Yeah, they closed that consulate. So what other?
But then they did that to us too, though. They kicked us out of a Chinese junk too. I think they closed one of the U.S. junks over there. I mean, they're just playing fucking spy wars. That's all it is.
Tit for tat.
That's all it is. Yeah. They still gonna be trading with each other. We're still gonna be giving them soybeans. They still gonna be making our iPhones. Fuck all that shit.
So the same old thing, just a little distraction.
Some
All right,
bump in the road.
somebody at the DOJ was like, "Let's do this." All right, so this is our last wrap up, and we're still sticking with Donald Trump. This is still the opening topic, umbrella topic, of course. He wished Ghislaine Maxwell well. You know what I mean? They asked him, he was like, "What do you know?" In a press conference, "What do you think about Ghislaine Maxwell?" He's like, "Well, I've met her before a couple times. She's a really nice person, and I wish her well."
Stay with
and
the
it's
rich.
like, young, what? And you have to understand that. So this is why I raised the question of this, is because that Ghislaine Maxwell is charged with the same type of crimes that Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of, and who Donald Trump has also been accused of a lot of different sexual acts of aggression. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean,
So they're
I wouldn't say he was part of that shit. I mean,
I wouldn't say he was part of it either, but just that in general, that's how they treated.
You just don't want to say good luck to somebody who's been accused of pedophiles. I get
exactly.
that. You know what I'm saying?
Says a lot about our president.
I wouldn't have did that shit. I don't like them type people anyway. But like, I wouldn't have been like, oh, she a good person with that shit. I'd have been like, she nasty.
Man, it just says a lot about our president.
Lock her ass up, for real.
Well, it says a lot about our president. All right, so that's it for Donald Trump, the umbrella topics. This is Open Shots. Hit us up at openshotsdmv@gmail.com. I'm your host, Alex, along here with my co-host by the name of
Rick.
Rick, what you sipping on?
Some motherfucking Ninja Turtles. You already know. One more Emmy. I'm gonna fucking around with that Jameson Yemi.
I feel you. It's Open Shots. Booyaka, booyaka. Mr. Taylor, what you doing out there? You know what I'm saying? What you sipping on? You know what I'm saying? What you doing? Sipping some lemonade or Arnold Palmer, maybe?
I got this water.
You got that water. You know what I'm saying? Keep it cold. Keep it cold.
Keep
you know
it
what I'm
fresh,
saying?
baby.
Yeah, keep it cold. Right on. Once again, shout out to our producer extraordinaire by the name of Carlos G. You know what I'm saying? Keeping it in the mix, keeping us going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Lo.
Do appreciate it. Once again, Open Shots. Hit us up at openshotsdmv@gmail.com. We're on Spotify. We're on iTunes podcast. We're on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So we're around. You know what I'm saying? Hit us up. Hopefully you'll learn something from the show. So we start out with Donald Trump. We're moving on right now to our next topic, which is coronavirus. Our next topic is going to be, we're going to get into sports and then, the wrap up. So coronavirus, record number of U.S. cases, Florida, California, Texas, New York. In a single day, we had 1,000 deaths on July 21st. First time since June 2nd. What do you guys think about those numbers where they're coming from? You know what I mean?
Opened up too early. All fucking 50 states aren't going by a phase one of what the fucking government laid out in March when they said you have to do phase one. Nobody did. Not the state of Maryland. Nobody did. Nobody. Phase one is supposed to be 2 weeks of numbers going down. Nobody did it. Everybody opened up too early.
And here's one thing I just wanted to bring up because I was just on Worldometers. Isn't it true now? And I just want to ask this question. Please tell me. Is it true that now the CDC doesn't have to report the numbers? They have to report directly to the White House? Right.
And so they're going to cook the books. I'm
looking at the numbers right now, and I don't see any new cases for any of the states. But, for the total, we have new cases. But all of a sudden, the states, there are new cases there.
He's cooking the books because I told you he doing everything. He do everything for him. Everything's for him to get elected, dog. He trying to save face. I mean, look. He fucked this shit up. There's no other way to put it. The leadership stopped from the top, and he fumbled this shit from the top. He should have talking about opening shit back up. Only the reason why he want kids to go back to school is why parents got to go back to work. Parents go back to work, they make more money. People get money, they start to spend. Everything's for him. I don't know. I have an essential job, so I don't know what it feels like to work at Starbucks. You know what I'm saying? So this shit really ain't hurt me that bad. My wife a nurse, so our lives didn't stop. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know. I can't speak for everybody else.
Okay.
I would say
Go ahead, Mr. Taylor. Go ahead, Mr. Taylor. Go ahead.
Make some really good points. And he is saying a lot of stuff that we kind of want to hear. But it's the inconsistency that makes me feel that he's like talking out of his ass and not necessarily a solid game plan. For example,
he had none.
Well, he cut a lot of the school programs, right? And then he made the point that the same programs he cut is why the kids have to go back to school because that's where they get their meals from. You know what I mean? The stuff he cut. So
playing politics with kids.
Exactly. So my point being is he's not consistently standing on a platform that goes with his day-to-day policies or whatever he's doing. He's
been doing it since the shit started. Even in March when states was going on lockdown, he went the next day on Twitter say liberate Michigan.
Yeah, so I mean,
his messaging has been fucked up.
Yeah, it's hard to say he.
And I honestly believe the only reason why he canceled the jump in Jacksonville is somebody probably told him like, "Young, you're getting crushed in the polls, dog. You got to change your approach." But even if you've been watching his jumps this week, his briefings, when he read off the paper, you can't even take him seriously because you know that's not him. He talk off the hip so much, you be like, he bullshitting. He don't believe nothing that he's fucking saying. The real Donald Trump come out when the motherfucker asks him a question and he answer it. Or when he on Twitter. All that shit when he be reading from the paper, I don't believe nothing he say because he don't believe none of that shit.
I think the bigger issue you have to also remember with Trump is his staff is fighting him. You know what I mean? I can really see when he canceled that, I could see maybe 70% of his staff saying, we're not doing it. You know what I mean? I could literally see them saying, I could get sick. We're not going.
Oh, because no one's showing up. Look what happened in fucking Oklahoma and 4th of July. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? They're like,
numbers aside, I don't believe. I believe every day this administration faces mutiny. And that's one thing I think some people are forgetting is a lot of people working for him don't want to work for him.
It's true. I mean, it is a tough gig to work for Donald Trump because you never know where you're going to get fired.
All the good people, they left. Or he got fired.
He ran through it. I don't think he's had a full staff since he's been in the White House for every job that he's supposed to appoint.
His turnover rate is vicious. I get so he know how to play this. He know how to play the system because some of his motherfucking people is always acting. They're acting. They're never like the main motherfuckers. You got to get confirmed by the Senate. He knows how to put the acting whatever the fuck, acting surgeon general, acting whatever the fuck in his cabinet. He knows how to play the system. I give him that. He do it well. He could fucking manipulate the world, dog. And he know how to keep bullshit shit through court systems and shit like that. That's all he do.
Okay, so let's look at the states not requiring masks. There are only two states. There are only 2 states that are not requiring masks: Iowa and South Dakota. So
states where nobody live in.
This is So there's a lot of space. So from ABC News.com,
Iowa.
Iowa. I'll give you Iowa.
Yeah. All right. So this is July 22nd from ABC News. Which states? Some mask requirements for the states right now is South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, I believe that's Alabama or Mississippi, one of them, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Alaska, Arizona, Nevada. Those states are just like some masks required. You know where masks are required? All up and down the East Coast, pretty much to South Carolina. So, you know what I mean? We're trying to do something, but I feel like there's some of these states that just Missouri is just like, I don't know, man. You have to get on board, because like Rick said this before, and I'm going to reiterate it as well, is that you're not wearing a mask for you. You're wearing it for me. And you have to keep that in mind in terms of like the unification of just in general society. Like, you know what I'm saying? We got to keep moving forward with that. But DC is now requiring that masks be worn outside. And they're also, asking for like a 2-week, contained quarantine period for when if people are coming from out of town into the district. So the district is requiring it. What do you think is going to happen with like these tourists who's coming from these other states who are like, no, I shouldn't have to wear a mask outside? And how are they going to be able to enforce this? I mean, how is Muriel Bowser going to be able to enforce this? And shout out to Muriel Bowser.
Send they ass DC jail. They put that mask on when they get released the next day.
Yo, but isn't it an arrestable offense? It's a ticket, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. It should be. It should be at least a ticket.
People in New York getting arrested.
Go ahead, Mr. Taylor. Go ahead.
I saw people in New York getting arrested, violently getting arrested. You know what I mean? So I believe they take it as serious as, what's the word I'm looking for, as they feel like enforcing it.
In New York, they should take it serious. They got smacked hard.
I mean, this country has gray area when it comes to a lot of laws. They'll tell you if this happens, you are likely to be punished in this way. And then somebody else will come and say, well, that happened to me and I got punished differently. So we all know that. We all know that it's really up to the states, the governor, the local levels to enforce how they want this handled, you know? So you go.
Yeah, but then you got the fucking governor of Georgia suing the mayor of Atlanta because she wants to enforce the mask. You got stupid shit like that going on.
So Donald Trump is talking about schools reopening and potentially holding back federal funds if there is no in-person, attendance and teaching happening. According
That's
to the
a threat.
Washington,
You can't do it. That's illegal.
Yeah, according to the Washington Post, you cannot do that. You cannot hold up federal funds for that type of activity. And here's what they can do. So this is coming from July 13th, the Washington Post. President Trump and Education Secretary Betsy DeVos have told public school districts that they must open fully for the 2020-2021 school year during the coronavirus pandemic, and they threatened to withhold federal funding from school districts that don't. The threats, however, are largely just that, threats without real teeth behind them. So it doesn't look like the feds can, the president can do this, but he has to get, I would imagine, some type of approval through Congress in terms of budgeting.
Good luck with that.
So any thoughts on?
To be honest with you, he can do that, right? But what had happened earlier in the week is he tried to make it for people on student visas who will be doing online courses to go back to their country and not be able to stay here to do that. And
that's been I think that's getting overturned. There's a lot of money for a lot of these institutions, for a lot of these parents who are overseas who would be like, just stay in the U.S. and we'll pay for it. So I don't think Donald Trump's even thinking about that in terms of economics.
What happened was Harvard Law says, we're going to bring down the hammer on you. And they basically told the Trump administration, we're going to bring it. And Trump said, you know what, I'm good. And he just backed out. So, I mean, like, literally, that's what I can see happening here. I can see if you're worried about what Harvard University's going to do, imagine what the whole teacher union and all that are going to do.
You have to battle their law school. Yeah, you have to battle their law school, which is the best in the country. All right.
Yeah, so they're going to come harder.
Right on. So one last note on coronavirus. The cafeteria in the White House has been closed this past week due to coronavirus. So shout out to President Trump for being like, damn, I love that tuna fish with no tuna fish. Once again, this is that show, Open Shots. Hit us up at openshotsdmv@gmail.com. I'm your host, Alex, on here with my co-host by the name of
Rick.
Rick, what you sipping on? What you sipping on? What that Jameson? Get that
Jameson
Jameson
right
popping.
here, baby. Look at that.
Popping.
Look at that.
You know
all my bottles green. You hear me? Look at that. All my bottles green.
I wish all my pockets were green. Unfortunately, it's all my gold.
Look at that. Got the Ninja Turtle. Got the Jameson. I might have some Tito's next time. I don't know. I just been in the Jameson mood the past couple months.
Ballin', we fly. The beach, no lying. Mr. Taylor, what are you doing over there? How you doing, man? A special guest once again by the name of Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor, how you doing? What's good over there?
ST period.
Trying to make it, man. Just trying to make it.
Trying to make it right on. Once again, shout out to the producer extraordinaire by the name of Carlos
where
G.
that?
That's the name of the Carlos G. So over there, you know what I'm saying? Thanks for putting this together. And once again, is that show Open Shot. So to recap, we started out with Donald Trump, umbrella topic, moved on to coronavirus. Again, another umbrella topic. Moving on to our third topic now, which is sports. So the NBA is opening up in a few days. How's it
I
looking
didn't agree with, but it's all good. It's coming back.
So how's it looking for the NBA opening up in a few days?
You know what? Hey, yeah, I ain't gonna fake, young. The crowd make a difference, Jai, to when bump teams are playing. Like, I was just watching the other day the Brooklyn Nets, and they play. I forgot who. I can't even remember who the fuck they was playing. But it was just like, all right. And I tried to watch the Heat and I think it was the Jazz. Right now, like, damn, yeah. Like, if this shit was on TNT, I'd have fuck around and watch this shit if the crowd was there. Now maybe let me wait till like the good teams start playing, because then this shit gets serious. Those are 4 teams that I know because right now my mind ain't on regular season mode. It's like playoff mode now. Like we in July. Like the season should have been fucking over. But now it's like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, I don't think they should have came back, but I'm geeked up because now they coming back because the way that I see how the little stadium look and shit like that, it's like a fucking, like when they was kids, just like when they playing AAU balls, man.
Yeah, dude,
You
like,
know what I'm saying? You said that. You've been said that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's back to the basics, John. They staying in hotels, they doing all that shit. So, you know what I'm saying? The best gonna play, even though I don't think they should be playing, but I'm geeked up though.
These are scrimmages. I think they'll jazz it up for the actual season.
Right. I mean, I know they got to get some games, and I get that. You know, like I don't even like watching NFL preseason games. I do because I love football, right? But I don't take anything into watching fucking NFL.
I like going to NFL preseason games.
I don't. You know, I've been telling y'all that I give a fuck who the fuck on the roster week 1. Like the draft is overhyped. The draft is fucking background noise. But we talking about the NBA. They would give me off topic.
So since we're talking about preseason to regular season, let's break down what's going on.
Please do it, Mr. Taylor. Right? Bum bonus round.
We have the Eastern Conference, which has 9 teams. Our Washington Wizards.
Without Bradley Beal, it's gonna be the same 9 teams. If he'd have been playing and John Wall would have came, we'd have snuck in there with the 8th because the Nets have no.
Good.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, now for us to sneak in, the 8th team.
Bill, we done.
This is on both sides. The 8th team has to be leading more than 4 games. So if there's a chance that the 8th seed team is only leading,
then it's a playing game, right?
Then it's a playing game. But
they did that to sneak. They did that to sneak the Pelicans in there for Zion, man. It's politics. Well, they playing politics in the NBA.
The Western Conference is a much tougher conference. So you can have teams that are in the 9th, 10th, and 11th that are over 500.
But see, I don't – when it comes to sports, dog, I don't care who's deeper. Win your division. Get in the first 8. That don't matter to me. I bet it. It don't matter because at one point in time, the Eastern Conference was stronger than the Western Conference. So that's
I don't know whenever that was.
In the 90s. What you mean?
90s, I don't even think in the 90s they were strong.
What you mean? The Bulls was in the Eastern Conference. They won 6 out of 10.
Okay. The strength of a conference isn't how many titles it wins. It's how many teams are over 500. So the West Coast, for the longest of time, their A seed is always over 500.
In the 2000s, I would agree with you on that. Yeah.
Oh, in the 90s as well. In the 90s.
In the 90s, no. The 90s, they didn't have as many teams in the 90s.
Well, look at it more like this. Look at it as the East Coast having the Bulls, they've won more titles, right? But the Eastern Conference in itself can't beat a lot of the Western Conference teams.
I give you that. In the 2000s, the Western Conference dominated.
I mean, yeah,
they did. They dominated. You really if you take away the Celtics, mm-hmm. the Pistons, and whatever team LeBron was on, mm-hmm. the 1-3, it's all been Western Conference. Mm-hmm. I agree with you. In the 2000s, yes, the Western Conference has been strong.
Yeah, it's just
heavy.
The conference, not the individual teams.
Right.
And they've always been that way from late 80s, early 90s. They've always been strong.
But so is the Eastern Conference.
No, the Eastern Conference just.
If you look at the numbers, it's kind of.
What you mean? The Celtics won 3 in the 80s. The Pistons won 2. That's 5. It's only 10 years in a decade.
It doesn't matter how many championships they win. It's the strength of the conference. So
over 500 is what you're saying.
Yeah, over 500. There's the majority of the Western Conference.
Did you forget that fucking Dominique Wilkins played for the Hawks, and that was a sorry ass Atlanta team. They was over 500. You think Dominique went to the playoff 30 and 52?
I mean, you got to look at it. If your A seed on the East Coast is like 25 and 30 something, and they make the playoff, and then your 12 seed on the West Coast is 30 something and 25, and they don't make the playoff.
I don't think it was like that in the 80s. I would disagree with that. I don't have the stats in front of me. I would agree. I would agree with you in the 2000s. In the Eastern Conference, had a lot of sorry ass teams as an AFC. I agree, 1,000%. But in the 80s and 90s, no, I would have to push back on that.
Yeah, no. They've been the strongest since the 90s to now.
The Western Conference?
The Western Conference. They've always had over 500. I can even remember at times where you had the playoffs didn't end until the last day on the Western Conference.
That's recently. I agree. That's recently.
That's up and down from the 90s.
No, when?
Just think of look at the Western Conference. What teams are always relevant and then not relevant? The Phoenix Suns. You see what I'm saying? They'll have a very
the Phoenix Suns. They played the Chicago Bulls. Nobody thought the Suns was going to beat the Bulls.
Well, no. What I'm getting at, once again, it doesn't matter the strength of the team. It's the strength of the conference.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all right. So we're
you
gonna
had
keep
the
it
fucking
moving.
you had the fucking Pacers that was good in the 90s. You had the Knicks that was good in the 90s.
All right, so we're going to keep it moving, but
You had the Cavaliers.
I do have one question. I do have one question for you know what I'm saying, everybody on the mics. What's your Final Four? Western Conference, Eastern Conference right now, just before
LA, and it's probably gonna be fucking Milwaukee.
Yep. That's the question, right? Unless the Clip don't make it.
Nah, they gonna make it.
You don't think the Rockets going to?
You know, the Rockets could be a sleeper, dog. We got to do our little prediction when that shit starts.
That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, James Harden lost weight. He looking like he trying to ball, yeah. James Harden got skinny and all that shit. Yeah, he trying to ball, yeah. And you know, he an icebox for real.
Yeah.
He could drop buckets though. Like he ain't no slouch.
I got the Lakers and right now the Rockets, and on the East Coast I got the Bucks.
You got the Lakers.
Yeah, Lakers, and the
Clippers are deeper than the Lakers, dog.
I don't know.
No, are you serious? The Lakers have like 3 starting fives. They have Kuzma coming off the bench, and they got Rondo and Caldwell.
Rondo has a broken hand. He's done. He's not coming back.
We still got Caldwell Pope, J.R. Smith.
J.R. Smith,
who
if it wasn't for a lockdown when he played this year,
JaVale McGee, Anthony Davis, LeBron.
Bum.
Okay, well.
You got LeBron and AD and who else?
Okay. Let me break it down.
Avery Bradley, Caldwell Pope,
bum.
Dwight Howard,
Kuzma, Dwight Howard,
bum.
You have 2 starting fives. You acting
like they got 2 starting fives that would do good? They second starting five will be a fucking non-irrelevant team.
Well, I think they're going to ride on their
starting. Take LeBron off the Lakers. Are they good?
Yeah.
They are with Kuzma at the starting at the 3.
Kuzma.
They are still a good team with Kuzma.
They're good. They're a number 1 seed in the Western Conference.
No, not a number. You said good.
What's a good team to you?
A good team is the fact that the Lakers could lose LeBron and Kuzma could step in.
Okay, would they be answer this? Would they be as good as a team now that the Golden State Warriors lost KD and a healthy Clay, a healthy Steph, and Draymond?
I don't have any argument for the Warriors.
I'm just asking you this question because I want to define your answer. What's good?
Well,
are they that good? Are they that good?
The question was the final.
What is your answer to
the
good?
Lakers and the Rockets.
You see how he's trying to trump me right now. You see how he's trying to trump me?
I haven't gotten a 4 from you.
He ain't trying to answer.
On the East, I'm
trying to answer the question, dog. Answer the question.
So,
I just want to know what your definition of good is.
Yeah, I can answer the question.
Sixers.
Can you answer the question for me?
Yes,
Jimmy Butler.
Please.
I would say
I'm taking
that the Golden State Warriors was a super team, and the Lakers team was built to beat.
No, that wasn't my question. I say, okay, take LeBron off the Lakers, right?
Yeah.
I still haven't heard.
Now you have KD. Now you have KD. You have them in the Final Four without LeBron.
Who's your Final Four right now?
I just told you the motherfucking it's gonna be
LA.
Teams.
You said LA,
Milwaukee, and whoever play Milwaukee.
So you got to name that 4th team. Boston. You got Boston. Okay, sweet. We're good. Mr. Taylor, please.
What's your 4?
What's my 4?
Mr. Taylor, your 4.
I know it's kind of tough, but I would definitely put the Lakers in there. I would put the Clippers in there, and then I guess I would have to put Milwaukee. And then I would say Toronto. I believe Toronto they'll play like they did last year. You know what I mean? They're missing a key player, but
they missing Kawhi Leonard. He ain't just like a role player.
Well, no, because before Kawhi came, they were doing all right without him.
By the way,
they did good with DeMar DeRozan, who played 20 years too late.
Well, no. Kawhi came and he was hurt from the Spurs. And they played most of the season without him, and they did well. They still were number one on the East, right? I believe even the whole entire NBA. And then even when they had DeMar, they still, I mean, it's a solid organization, great GM, great coaching. You know what I mean? It's like the players, they're in sync. They made a few moves that I didn't really like, but, I mean, still, they stayed consistent and to be put where they're at. So I think everyone just forgets about them, and then when they do well, they're like, oh, yeah, that's right, the Raptors are there. So I expect them.
I don't know. I just like Boston Youngins though. I like Tatum.
Boston.
I like Tatum
well,
and
actually,
Brown.
I hate Boston.
I don't know how they didn't work last year with Tatum, Brown, and Kyrie. That still puzzles me. I still don't understand it.
It was Kyrie Irving.
Now you might be right. You might be right. Maybe he ain't built to be the top dog. That's why he had to team up with KD, and that's why he shined when he played with LeBron. You know what I'm saying?
His attitude is like if you can't.
He a dog though. You can't say he a bum. He a dog.
I kind of can because here's my theory.
He worked Steph Curry.
Whenever you have the best player hitting stats on a losing team, he's a scrubby player. And that's how I see guys like Kyrie. I see guys like, and even the other guy in that plays for Dallas, number 77. What's his name?
Luka.
Until he has.
Luka is nice. What you mean? They ain't got no side record.
Look. Yeah, yes, they are. They're like what, eighth place?
No, the Mavericks ain't no eighth place.
Oh, let me see.
What you mean? Memphis eighth place.
You can't compare those numbers either. Though.
They're like sixth place. They're like sixth place.
That's good in the Western Conference. That's not good. We were just arguing the Western Conference strong. That sixth place ain't good in the West.
I mean, yeah. I would say you could give them the fact that when you put both conferences together,
you can't be like Luka a scrub. Luka aight.
No. This is why I say
he's not a scrub. He's
not.
I
say that with Luka.
He's good. He's good.
I say that with any
man. When you got a nickname like Luka, you can't be a scrub, Holmes. You can't.
The other guy is Devin Booker, right? Look at all the stuff Devin Booker does. He's on a losing team. They don't make the playoffs. Anthony Davis, same with him. He was on the Pelicans, barely making the playoffs. You can't go, oh, I'm dying for an Anthony Davis when he can't make the playoffs.
Devin Booker is nice though. He can score. He's just on the wrong spot.
Nice. He's do the same stuff Luka do.
But he's not built like the difference is he's not built to be a number one. Then
that's what
Devin Booker out to get his.
That's what I'm getting at. If you're on a sorry team and you're the best of the sorry team, come on.
So yeah, that's our recap on the NBA. But let's talk a little bit of baseball right now. It's a 66 game, something like that, spree that's coming through. You know what I'm saying? The Nats, you know what I'm saying? They just
60.
They had opening day on, the other day, got rained out, and I think we lost 4-1. You know what I'm saying? 4-1 or 4-2. I think it was 4-1.
Yeah, 4-1.
Yeah, that guy like we can't celebrate their championship.
Stanton got the 2-run homer at the top of the first, young. Like Scherzer didn't even know how to pitch like this dude.
Classic Max Scherzer.
This Bama just cranked it top of the first. You know what I'm saying? Solid ass crowd. It's like batting practice with no crowd to baseball players. Literally, it's like a chipping tee. There's no distraction at all. It's just
but the pressure gonna be on, dog. They only got 60 games. They used to playing a long ass time.
Well, the pressure's going to be on the pitchers this year, especially with nobody in the crowd, because there's nobody helping you on to distract the batter. And that's the thing that you want to do is to, like, beat the batter every single time.
I mean, at this level, I don't believe in that shit, man. The crowd make a difference, not in baseball. In football and basketball, yes. In hockey and baseball, no. I don't think crowd make a difference in those two sports.
Baseball
because a rack of times, the away team always beat the home team anyway. So in those two sports, to me personally, by watching it, not really watching hockey, but shit like that, it don't really affect. Like the road teams win a lot in Game 7 in baseball and in hockey. So crowd matters I believe in football, yes. In fucking basketball, yes. But not in baseball and hockey. I'm sorry. And I don't watch hockey. And I hope if we got to talk about hockey, I'll shut the fuck up.
Too many missing fucking consonants on this name. I feel you on those jerseys. Like I don't even know what that is. So all right, so that's it for the MLB. Shout out to the Rick. You said it missed the ring ceremony because
it's bullshit, man. When time we win that shit, we can't even celebrate.
Yeah, Fauci threw out the first pitch. Mr. Taylor, you wanted to get in?
ST
I
Prig.
just, man, I wanted to go to the ring ceremony joint, you know. So
You know how fried I was gonna be? I was gonna go to the game. I don't even fuck with baseball like that, but I was gonna go to that shit. Shit, once we in the playoff, like I told y'all, well, I told Alex, I don't watch baseball every day, but I'll read it. I'll read it in the sports page when it comes playoff time. If I'm a hometown team. You see what I'm saying? I don't cheer for Dallas, and I don't live in Dallas.
You don't root for the Orioles anymore.
I cheer. Fuck no.
You used to root for the Orioles. We used
Fuck
to watch
Baltimore.
The Orioles. We used to go to Orioles games.
We did all day. My
Stadium.
father used to take us. Hell yeah, we be deep as shit in that caravan going out there. Shit, but in 2005, when the motherfuckers started playing the RFK, Nationals all day.
Hey, see how it is.
Tell you,
just not a victim of corporation. Just
check
Go
this
ahead.
out. This is what I like about baseball. We would get jobs in like places like Quantico, and you got to drive like an hour and a half, right? And as you're driving back, because I'm the C-SPAN guy, I like listening to C-SPAN, and the fan, they would have the Nats playing, and the commentary for baseball is one of the best in sports. You know what I mean? I love the slang. I love it. Here comes the 2-1. And I fell in love with the Nationals, listening to them every day when I drove. I learned the players'
Charlie
names.
Slows. Charlie Slows. Charlie Sloan.
But my point still being, that's the best part of it is when you listen to it, because you can't see it, your ears have to interpret what's going on. You learn the players more. You get more attached to the players. You listen to the commentary as they tell you the backstories. You're really, really taking the game.
I'd rather watch it live. Like me and my father went to a game last year.
Yes, be at the game. Be at the game. Yeah, be at the game.
You know what tripped me out when I was with my father, he was forgetting last year I was 38 years old. The motherfucker was forgetting I was 38. We watching the game like I'm 11. And he's like, here come. He telling me what pitch is about to come. I'm like, young, all right. I'm like, young, all right. But it was cool, though. It was cool as shit. Like, I was getting hammered.
That's tight, because it's the
yeah, hell yeah. I was getting hammered with my daddy and shit. And it just felt like now I'm, like, older watching it with him, and I could do old shit with him and shit like that. I'd be like, hold up. Gotta get more brew. He'd be like, hurry back. Gotta hurry back. I'm like, cool. But, man, it was cool as shit. I ain't bring my glove like I used to when I was a kid and shit, but, like, man, my father be that. Here come the curve. Look at that. Boom. That's ball coming up. Man, no bullshit. All he needed was a little. Man, he did that shit all the time. He was doing that shit, man. I had a fun ass time with my father when we went to the game, It was bullshit that they closed the season down because me and him, we was like, yeah, we about to go to like 10 games this year and shit like that. And they fucked that shit up. Well, COVID fucked that shit up.
Well, at least, like I said, I knew I called it, which was the MLB. Was going to be the first to start professional sports again. So how's the NFL looking at? Let's get through the sports real quick. Once again, is the show Open Shots.
They just started their shit, so we don't know yet.
Yeah. So
we don't know if they're going to shut it down yet.
Yeah.
Because this is the first sport that ain't really get affected yet.
Oh, and just let me recap real quick for the MLB. Just one thing real quick is that U.S. teams have been denied access to Canada.
Absolutely, as they should.
Yeah, because Canada's like, nah, your numbers are going up.
They like, we good over here. We don't need that shit.
So that's just one more thing in terms of how things are going right now, because we talked about it earlier with Corona. So
I agree, as they should.
So let's keep moving. NFL, how are we looking again?
How we looking?
They feel pretty confident. They feel, and here's the fucked up part: they had all the time in the world to prepare for this, and yet they're still lacking a little behind. But
because they thought the shit was gonna disappear.
I'm not gonna make excuses for it, man.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. They thought the shit was gonna. What Trump say? It's gonna magically disappear. It's just gonna go away.
It's magically delicious.
What the fuck, man? I agree. They had all fucking winter, the rest of winter, all the spring, and half the fucking summer. Why are you gonna wait? Because the rookies are there now. They can't do shit now because they got to get tested. But like they're not even gonna be in a bubble. So what happens? What happens if say whoever the fuck is 63rd on the roster during training camp and he had a good day in practice and he like, man, fuck it, I'm about to go fuck with these hoes and these bitches done got his ass sick. Now he come back to practice, get the whole team sick.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a bubble.
Yeah,
they're getting tested. They're getting tested every day from my understanding for the first 2 weeks. After the first 2 weeks, then it's like I don't know the number. I mean the answer to that, but I know the first 2 weeks they're getting tested every day. Because the NFL can't do what the NBA do. They got 80 people. 80 times 32 is a rack of motherfuckers until they cut the roster down to 53. You see what I'm saying? But this is why I don't think they should play sports. Because, okay, if they could get fucking tests back in 2 fucking days, or not even 2 days, like within the fucking same fucking day, and you got some states, you got to wait 2 weeks to get your results back, why don't they fucking put that money towards helping American citizens who need that shit?
America does it to itself, to be honest with you.
That's why I don't think sports should be playing. Because there's people that need that shit.
Somebody with money is going to say that's unfair. I can't make money because they're giving these people an opportunity.
But your job, but America right now is supposed to be open for essential workers. Their job's not essential.
Well, we're closed. We're closed to even entry to Canada. So I don't know.
You understand what I'm saying?
I don't know in general that affects the whole sports.
I know rich people rule the world, but when we want to get technical, football, basketball, baseball is non-essential.
Right.
You don't need to be doing this right now. We're in a global pandemic.
So that's pretty much how your thoughts are just in general, like on the NFL. Like I think I'm
glad it's back. I can't wait for the NFL. I don't give a fuck at the credit. See, I'm biased.
Right.
Let that shit be empty.
Okay, so let's get on being the biased and unbiased. So now it's official. The Washington football team.
Redskins.
So football team.
Washington football
let's
team.
Go football team.
Well, you know it don't matter because ain't nobody gonna be in the stadium anyway, so I ain't tripping.
It's even more disgraceful that you still haven't picked out a team name at this point, with everything that's been going on for years now, just to be like, we had a backup. And still, how long were you on?
I don't think to be honest with you, I don't think he had a backup, dog. I really don't think he had a backup.
Something at this point should the trigger should have already been called on the Redskins organization in terms of what are you guys going to just anything? Just give us anything. The Washington Warriors, the Washington Regents, the Washington I don't know, keep it mystical with like the Wizards, the Washington, Grand Wizards.
Hey, but should Ole Miss change their name, or should UNLV change their name?
Yeah,
I mean they have. Those schools have to look at it. Yeah, those schools have. They're going to have to look at it. Unfortunately, they're going to have to look at it. I mean, Virginia's thinking about changing its flag because it has like the Cavalier sword thing on it. You know what I mean? And that represented colonialism, obviously being one of the first. Colonies. So yeah, I mean, every school is going to have to look at it independently, and I'm
just trying to push back on that shit. To be honest with you, I really don't give a fuck about the name change. I don't cheer. I cheer.
You're officially the football team.
I know.
Let's go football team.
Did you see this shit?
In a sense, you kind of should because
going back to embarrassing in terms of just general ownership of a football team at this point.
My wrist say, hell. Can y'all see it? Hell,
Mr. Taylor, you had something to say. Go ahead, Mr. Taylor.
So coming from the Midwest, I stayed in the Dakota Indian area. And if you know about the history of that, it's really bad. What this country did to Dakota Indians was very, very shameful.
Right. And I agree. 1,000%.
To this day, you still have people out there.
All Native Americans.
They use that word as a racial slur. It's like the N word for me would be. That's what it is for them. And
that's not necessarily true. Because we talked about this last time. They have high schools in Native American territory that their team name is Redskin.
Well, for starters, I don't know anything about that. What I do know is from what I've seen and my personal experience.
Me too.
It's some fighting words. It's
right, but see, my grandmother, her boyfriend is Cherokee Indian, and he didn't find Redskins' name offensive.
Well, he's Cherokee, so that's like.
But they're Native American.
That's like going up to an African American and saying, "Hey, are you upset that Trump called Haiti a shithole country?"
No, Native American. He's a native to this country. What you mean?
Because
He's not more native than somebody who's from fucking Minnesota.
Well,
they both native to this land.
Because the different tribes have different cultures and different cultural impacts, and even the treaties they have with America is all different. So, like what the Dakotas have in Minnesota, it's not the same as what the Cherokees have. The Cherokees are like over here. We're talking about the Sioux.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying I'm not Native American. I don't know. So the only person that I know that is Native American is my grandmother's boyfriend. And I've asked him that. Do you find? And he cheers for the Redskins.
Well, I mean, yeah, because dude, you had black people who fought in the Confederate Army.
Yeah, so, but do you know what his job was before he retired? He was one of the lawyers that worked for Indian Affairs in fucking D.C. So it wasn't he was like some drunk drinking beer all the time. He helped Native Americans fight.
The fact that this guy, that's your uncle, right?
And I'm my uncle. He's my grandmother's boyfriend.
Your great grandma boyfriend. When they were having the protests with the Dakota pipeline, did he show up? Probably not. You know what I mean? No. So you think they give a fuck what he has to say about the name?
Yeah, but you're just saying. But that's what I'm saying. You're just naming one tribe. There's more than one tribe.
No. This is a large population of
Native
American. It's the Dakota Indians. This is where they pushed them all in the Dakota.
Right, I know.
Mixed with.
But there's also a large There's also a large group of high schools in territory, Native territory, that their high school names are Redskins. ESPN had a fucking story on it. You can Google that.
I'm not going to disagree with you, Rick. So
you can look at the Washington Post. They did a new, not the '80s one, but the one that was from 3 years ago. That 90% of Native Americans didn't find the name offensive.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so and you're also saying that they had it on native land and they were still abiding by it. I don't know that might be whitewashing or just overall imperialism in terms of accept this is something to be proud of, but we're, subliminally labeling you a certain way. So, I mean, I'm not getting away from that. And again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. So
we should find the name Yankee offensive.
I don't care. I mean, I don't care about that. Yankee offensive?
That should be offensive.
When's the last time you heard somebody look at him mad and be like, "You're a Yankee,"
and then hung him and then scalped him? Yeah, because that happens all the time.
But the Yankees scalped the natives, didn't they? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Did they not take? Do we not live on the land do we not live on the land right now that they used to live on? Because the Yankees just tortured them, killed their women and children. Do we not live the way we are? So what is offensive? So where do we draw the line?
All sports, football happening, college, high school. I mean, is anything going to be happening this fall in terms of sports?
Montgomery County shut down. My son ain't going to play football till his senior year.
So no fall sports this year?
All fall sports canceled.
Okay. And a lot of camps have been canceled. So I was just wondering how it was looking, but apparently
I know in Maryland, Montgomery County, and PG County done. I think Frederick County they still going to have football. Howard County. I think from my understanding, I think it's just PG and Montgomery County.
Well, so
I could be wrong, but I know PG and Montgomery County canceled all fall sports.
So they're going completely online, nothing in the fall. Okay, just a question once again for our listeners.
And Fairfax County.
Okay, listen to us on Open Shots. Hit us up in openshotsdmv@gmail.com. You can hit us on Open Shots on Spotify, YouTube, the iTunes podcast. You know what I'm saying? And then you catch us up on a little bit of social media here and there. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? Word of mouth right now is working. I am your host, Alex, along here with my co-host by the name of
Rick.
Rick, what you sipping on? What you sipping on? Tell me about that.
Sipping on the motherfucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, me.
Tell me about that. Tell me about that. Take another shot. For Open Shots.
Where your shot at?
Okay, yeah. Hey, I got to hop myself up to be like, hey, don't y'all want me to do the same thing too?
Where your shot at, dog?
It's coming.
Nah, I want to see it. Show everybody.
It's coming. Our special guest once again.
Yeah, some wine or whiskey. That's what you had.
Mr. Chantel No Vowels. How you doing, man? What are you sipping on?
You.
Okay, so crickets.
Yeah.
So Mr. Taylor, there you go. All right.
He's drinking on note. Okay. All right.
Shout
we
out
got
to
you.
the producer extraordinaire by the name of Carlos G putting this together one more time. Once again, openshotsdmv@gmail.com. We're going to recap. We started off with, seeing how everything was doing. Donald Trump, umbrella topic. Coronavirus, umbrella topic. We just got done with sports.
I find Yankees offensive.
Yeah, well, answering the question of what fall sports are going to be looking like, and apparently there are no fall sports. And now we're going to move it into a wrap-up. So I just wanted to go back and touch on a couple different points of previous topics that we talked about. So something that Rick has mentioned in terms of the legacy of what could be Donald Trump is that Justice Roberts, United States Supreme Court, the Supreme Court had a case this past week, which was a petition on the number of people that could be allowed inside of a church. I believe the church that brought it forward to the Supreme Court was in Nevada. And it's crazy because it was like a rush case because of coronavirus. So they're saying that the restriction for coronavirus is a restriction of our constitutional right to exercise our religion. And Justice Roberts, who keeps coming through, it's almost like it's kind of working out. I mean, at least he has a level head. Was like, nah, you can't. What we said before, what we're saying about Corona.
I think he knows.
He's just logical.
Yeah,
he's just logical. And so he was the winning vote. You know what I'm saying? To say no, you have to uphold while the pandemic is going on. So
he makes fucking sense.
Right. So shout out to him. The other thing I wanted to get into was, I'm just wrapping up on my State of the Union. Federal enforcement in Portland. So the governor and the mayor of Portland and the governor of Oregon are pretty much saying, we don't want the federal police here. We're going to police it the best that we can in our community. And I saw a meme on Facebook today, which was, it was like a newspaper cartoon kind of thing where it was like, oh, that's an interesting election strategy. And it was invade your own country, which it kind of feels like Donald Trump is doing in some of these cities, especially Portland's the example right now where it's like, we got to go in there with federal troops and show this force. And because, that's a voter that he's trying to get to. So just a reminder that, Black lives still do matter. They have always mattered. You know what I'm saying? Apparently now it's like people are paying attention. Revolution should have been happening in terms of equality, for a lot of people before us. But it's happening right now. It's happening with the youngins. So last one is the federal judge in New Jersey. Her son was killed this past week. And she is a federal judge. Apparently she was killed by another lawyer who was like some kind of masculine, anti-feminist. He killed himself.
I want her husband, dog.
Yeah, it was her husband, right?
No,
her son
was killed. Her son went to Catholic. Her son went to Catholic. Yeah, so her son went to Catholic. He was killed, shot by a guy that dressed up as a delivery man.
Awesome.
And
but she survived though.
She was.
She was in the basement working, home. She was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I don't think she was there. She was there.
She wasn't at this. She didn't get shot.
No, I thought she was in the basement.
Well, she didn't get shot at.
The son answered the door. The father was behind. He busted, boom, 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 and rolled out.
Right. Okay. So one interesting thing that I want to bring up on this this federal judge is that just recently, and again, not a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, you are.
If the dots connect, and her name rest in peace to her son. But the judge's name is Esther Salas from New Jersey, somewhere in New Jersey. Salas has also been assigned to, this is from mycentraljersey.com. It's got to be legit. Oh my goodness. So Salas has also been assigned to preside over a class action lawsuit brought against Deutsche Bank, which alleges the financial institution had poor financial reporting practices and misled investors. So that was one of her coming. And then she also had something previously dealing with some type of boating undercover or some kind of thing that happened. So that's it. And then let me end it on this. So my State of the Union is this. Ending on it. And y'all get on. You know what I'm saying? When y'all be all ready. I haven't heard from y'all. So so let me wrap it up. The State of the Union right now that I'm looking at is for Florida. They have numbers that are going up. They got the heat. People want to be outside. People want to socialize, whatever. They got Corona numbers. They're through the roof. And now if you get a hurricane that comes through, look at the toll and the pressure that's going to put on a system that is right now.
It's hurricane season.
Just bubbling, yeah. So I'm
out
with
that. I hope no
that.
hurricanes come this year.
Yeah, I'm out with that. Rick, what do you got for your State of the Union?
Shit, man. Everybody be safe, man. Stay your ass in the house. Only go out when you need to. I'm trying to beat this shit. Y'all motherfuckers keep prolonging this shit. Fuck that. Everyone wear your fucking mask.
Nevada.
Everybody wear your mask. They need to lock y'all up if y'all wear your fucking mask. Send your ass in jail for a couple weeks. Then your ass learn. But this ain't fucking China. It's America. That's why we in the shit we in now, because we got too many freedoms. I hate to say that shit, but we got too many freedoms. But I love it, though. Don't get me wrong. I ain't going to be like, I hate America. No, I love fucking America. I fucking love it. But it's always them fucking assholes going to be like, you can't tell me what the fuck, dude. All right, that's why we in the shit we in now. Point blank.
Right on. Mr. Taylor, State of the Union, what do you got?
Oh, man, so this is something I've been complaining about forever. Minorities will have a protest, and armed white militias will show up. You know what I mean? And it's not even that. Sometimes they even dress up as police, and they try to come in, they try to enforce the law. Because, you know, these are like guys that are just bored out of their minds. They want something to do. And now a group in Atlanta has started a gun militia full of black people. And I ain't going front. It looks scary. You know what I mean? When I look at the numbers, because they's not playing around. They show up deep. And they had a shooting that happened in Kentucky for the, what's her name, Breonna Taylor protest, right? And they showed up like maybe 100 deep. The militia boys showed up like 12. You know what I mean? And I'm just looking at it like, holy shit. How worse will this get? I mean, because I can guarantee you the biggest thing with, I would say with black folks is we were slaves, but we haven't really flexed the anger from being slaves, right? Yet, America is always trying to tell us to be more like America, but then we have all these bad examples of America. And when I see a bunch of brothers dressing up like the militia, I'm like thinking, wow, this is something that America should have said, hey, white guys, y'all don't need to be doing that shit. It could be issues. And no one stopped them. Now the brothers are doing it. And now the essays are going to do it. And everyone's going to start doing it. And I'm just looking at the footage and I'm like, we're so fucked. You know what I mean? We are so fucked. I mean, the cops are literally like, can you guys please stay on this side? I mean, all it takes is one person to say no. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how many rounds of ammunition do you think showed up that day? You know? What if somebody goes into a building and just decides to shoot in the crowd? What is everybody gonna do?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
seriously, I'm praying. I'm like, dude, please don't let some stupid idiot.
I hope none of that shit like you talking about happen. We don't need no more crazy shit.
Well, I mean, why it would happen is because, let's say I'm not black, I'm not white. I just love chaos. I just want to see these guys shoot it out. You know, very easily it starts like that.
Man, you need to smoke some bud, man. Calm your man.
Right on. Well, that is the show. Once again, this is Open Shots. We're recording on July 25th, 2020.
Dog. You need to alter your brain some little bit.
Co-host by the name of...
Just a little bit.
What's my co-host name? By the name of...
Rick, I just said it like 6 times.
Special
Rick.
guest, Mr. Taylor by the Mrs. Sean Taylor, no vowels, right?
Yeah,
ST period.
Yeah. Once again, shout out to producer extraordinaire by the name of Carlos G putting this together once again.
Low, what it do, baby?
Shots. Yeah, thanks for putting this together again. We're about to take them shots right now, but in the meantime, check us out on Spotify, check us out on YouTube, check us out on iTunes podcast, Open Shots DMV@gmail.com. We'll see y'all again in hopefully like 2 weeks. Peace.